Yeah, just want to see like how are you guys faring with all the COVID-19 thing going on? Like, do you think we're going to reopen anytime soon, or like what's the sentiment in Los Angeles at the moment?
Well, where's your mask, man? Oh,
Here.
that's not too effective. That's not very effective. So yeah, COVID's been a pretty big bummer. I mean, not the least of which because a lot of people are suffering and dying. I mean, it's a horrible situation over here. Halon is doing okay. We still have about 60 to 70 people working on various projects right now. But film is falling off a cliff. There is just nobody making films right now. Productions are very weary of getting going. There's insurance problems. There's obviously concerns about the health and well-being of actors and stage crew. I don't know what's going to happen with Hollywood generally. I have a sense that they might get filming in other countries a lot sooner than they will in the United States. Although a lot of countries don't want people from the United States coming to visit or work, and I don't blame them. We just can't seem to get our act together over here. So I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to be happening with film. But what's interesting is that because the big streaming media companies, your Netflixes, Amazons, your new HBO Go, your HBO Maxes, soon to be released Peacock from NBC. These guys need new content. They've just spent multiple millions, hundreds of millions of dollars unarchiving content, creating new content, developing and launching giant platforms to stream their content. And suddenly they're in a situation where they can't make new content. And they are all starting to realize that their viewership is completely driven by new content. So we're starting to see experimental projects getting going to see how COVID planning is working, concentric circles, wristbands with LEDs on them, armbands that tell you what area of the set you can actually be in, or coordination depending on what time of day you can be there. All sorts of crazy ideas. And some of these might work, some of them might not. But there's some experimentation happening. But what's even more interesting is that a lot of these studios are going towards animation now. To fill the gaps in the content pipelines, they're going to animation studios who can work from home, no problem. We went completely 100% work from home around March 12th. And I think we decided to do on March 10th, and in 2 days, all of our people were working from home. I've been working from home since then as well. So, and we managed, everybody seems to be managing to pull it off. So animated content, video game content, location-based entertainment content is dead as well because nobody wants to congregate in location-based entertainment venues. So I think until international film place, studios open up and start shooting again, we're going to see a pretty dead market for quite a while. And I'm concerned that, we're just not going to get our act together over here to help facilitate any of that. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens going forward here at least until there's a vaccine, hopefully.
Right. Well, that's thank Dan. I mean, it's almost 11 now for you.
Yeah, listen, I don't go to bed till like midnight or 1, so.
Right. Dan, hey, next year we're probably gonna bring you here, talk to people face to face when the COVID-19 is gone. All right.
That's right. I love it. I love Taiwan. I'd love to come. So.
Thank you. Let's thank Dan again. Thank you.
Thanks for everybody for coming.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Chris. We'll see you later.
Yeah. See you later.
Okay. Ciao.
Okay. So we're gonna have the next speech by Mr. Osaka Takeshi. Oh. We'll have to do a 5 minutes break because we haven't seen his connection yet. So 5 minutes break, please. Thank you. あ、はいはい、OK、OK。はいはい、はい、はい、切ります。はい、はい、切ります。
谢谢谢谢，好，谢谢谢谢谢谢。那个下一位讲者马上开始，可能先不要走远哈。然后我们现在准备一下，然后等各位赶快尽快回座。
あ、もしもし。
はい。
こちらは見えますか？
ちょっと待ってください。
はい。
あ、会場の様子見えてます。
はい。先ほど待っているところはちょっと5分間で休憩しちゃいました。申し訳ない。
あ、いえいえ、大事ですね。はい。もう全然問題ないです。
对，等一下，哎，帮他测试一下，趁这个时候。大迫さん、後ほどですね、僕が通訳しますけれども、ちょっと喋ってもらって、まあ、あまりね、たくさん喋らないでくださいね。こちらは訳するから。
はい、わかりました。
すいません。
ありがとうございます。よろしくお願いします。いえいえ。
はい。
欢迎各位请陆续回座，谢谢。然后前面有一些那位置也可以往前坐，没关系。大家如果后面太远的话，可以往前移动。好，你们可以休息的话。准备开始活动，下一个讲者准备帮我们来做演讲哈，那请各位往前坐，然后我们准备就定位之后，把时间交给我们的主持人。
大迫さん、聞こえますか？
聞こえます。
はい。じゃあこれからよろしくお願いします。
はい、よろしくお願いします。じゃあ始めても大丈夫ですか？
はい、始めてください。
はい、よろしくお願いします。じゃあ、画面の方共有します。
はい。
今私の顔って映ってるんですかね？
パワーポイントの方を、今出していいですよ。
はい、出しました。見えてますか？
まだ。
多分今、ネットワーク的に時間がかかってると思います。
来ました。
来ました。
だんだん来ました。
だんだん来た。すみません。インターネットなのに距離を感じますね。
Sorry, the internet connection is not very good, and it's taking a little bit time to put his PowerPoint on the screen.
表示されてますか？
まだです。
まだ？おかしいな。
来ました。
来ました。
はい。
大丈夫ですかね？じゃあ、
大丈夫です。始めてください。
はい。じゃあ皆さんよろしくお願いします。アクティベートの大阪と申します。
My name is Osaka, so I'm going to talk about a VTuber today from Japan.
今日はよろしくお願いします。まず私とアクティベート、私が社長している会社の紹介をさせてください。
I'm the CEO for Activate, and I'm going to introduce my company to you guys.
アクティベートは生きる世界の選択肢を増やすという企業ミッションを持ってます。
Our mission is to what? ちょっと待ってね。
はい。
To increase the choice of the world that we live.
ありがとうございます。アクティベートの事業は XR クリエイティブエージェンシー、VR の開発だったり XR のコンテンツ開発でバーチャル YouTuber、バーチャルタレントなど IP のプロデュースをしています。
Our business cover VTuber and also well, it's not on his ごめん、もう一回お願いします。
VR の開発やIP ですね、コンテンツのプロデュースをしています。
Okay. Our company is focusing on the VR, IP, and also contents production.
ありがとうございます。はい。で、2016年からバーチャル YouTuber をプロデュースしているので、日本のバーチャル YouTuber の、事情にも詳しいと思うので、今日はバーチャルタレントって私たち言ってますけれども、バーチャルタレントが今日本で、どういう状況なのかをお伝えできたらと思ってます。よろしくお願いします。
I've started to get in touch with the VTuber business since 2016, and I pretty much know what's going on here in Japan. And we have been spending our time working on the virtual talents for this market. So I'm going to talk about this today.
はい、早速、本題に入っていきます。2020年のバーチャルタレントの動向というところからです。よく VTuber って一言で言われますけれども、そもそも日本では今 VTuber と、V ライバーというような、アバターをかぶってですとか、そのキャラクターが、自分で動画を配信するといったようなこのコンテンツフォーマットの中にも大きく分けて2種類あることをまず先にお伝えします。
I think now we can separate into two categories. One is still called VTuber, and the other we call it V-Liver. So I'm going to explain about this.
はい。で、それぞれに、分けて今の状況をお伝えします。まず、
ごめん、大阪さん、パワーポイントは、はい、今、動いてないんですよ。今まだ1ページ目です。
失礼しました。私の方では動かしてるんですけどね。
はい。大丈夫です。
失礼しました。了解です。ちょっとじゃあこの形でやらせていただきますね。
はい。
で、はい。VTuber っていうのは、例えば、キズナアイとか、バーチャルシンガーユニといったような、主に、アーカイブの動画ですね。生配信ではなくて、アーカイブの動画を中心に活動しているような、キャラクターが VTuber と呼ばれていて、ライブ配信を、はい。
The main activities for VTuber is doing their performance by live streaming. So this is one category.
で、一方で V ライバーというのは生配信を中心に活動していて、また特徴としては日本語で箱と呼ばれる、グループですね。グループで活動しているという場合が多い。これが V ライバーです。
So we call this V-Livers because they operate in groups, as you can see on the screen here.
はい。で、この VTuber については、今ちょっと勝負の時っていうような状況です。で、V-Liver については一言で言うと今盛り上がってます。その理由をこの後説明します。
Now for VTuber, it's the time to decide who is going to stay in the market or who's going to phase out. But now for V-Livers, this is the most important in Japan at this moment.
はい。まず VTuber の方からご紹介します。VTuber は先ほど申し上げたように、アーカイブの動画を中心に、活動しているんですけれども、今 YouTube に、芸能人含めて、いろんなプレイヤーが参入してきていたりとか、 なかなか、競争が激しくなっているっていうこともあって、再生数をキープしていくのがとても難しい状況になっています。
Nowadays, for a VTuber to continue, for people to see them on YouTube is getting more and more difficult because a lot of other attractions, like real human talents, are also coming up. So this is quite difficult at this moment.
また、再生数に対応して得られる、アドセンスっていう収入ですね。YouTube から配分される収入も当然再生数が伸びづらいので、なかなかお金にならないという状況が今続いています。
So under this condition, it is quite difficult to continue to operate this business by getting advertisement, by letting people see their videos. It's getting difficult and hard.
なので、結果として、YouTube ではないプラットフォーム、例えば TikTok なんかを活用したり、テレビやあとは音楽ライブを実施したりと、そういう YouTube 以外の方に、力のある VTuber は、どんどん進出していってます。
So for capable VTubers, except YouTube, they are also trying to use other platforms like TikTok or live concert. So this is the way to go forward for these people now.
事例を紹介していきます。例えば、力のある VTuber はメジャー音楽レーベルから、メジャーデビューしたりしています。例えば、鬼滅の刃で有名な、リサっていう、女性のアーティストがいるんですけれども、その女性アーティストが所属している、ソニーのミュージックレーベルから、月野美斗という VTuber が、音楽アーティストとしてメジャーデビューしています。
So this talent actually belongs to Sony Music, and this is how she is doing her music label now. Review.
はい。で、また、VR との相性が非常に良い、当然 3D モデルですから、だったりするので、VR や、オンラインライブっていうものを、積極的に活動として行っている VTuber も増えています。
So other VTubers are also concentrating quite hard on the VR, but this is online and doing live.
はい。で、先ほど申し上げたように、例えば、キズナアイも、TikTok をやっていますけれども、キズナアイは TikTok で日本の中でですね、第9位になってます。フォロワーの数が第9位になってます。
Also, the Kizuna Ai is working in TikTok, and the result is top 9 now inside TikTok in Japan.
はい。キズナアイだけじゃなく、様々な VTuber が TikTok であるとか、Instagram であるとか、国を変えて、ビリビリであるとか、そういった YouTube 以外のプラットフォームに進出してきてます。
So except TikTok, also Bilibili and Instagram, quite a bit VTubers are also getting into these kind of platforms.
ここで言いたいのは、YouTuber と言われていて、VTuber の語源でもありますけど、力のある VTuber は YouTube 以外で活躍することも可能というような、ことが言えると思います。
So what I want to say here is that even we call YouTuber or VTuber, but actually the capable VTubers now are working in different platforms, as we just said.
はい。例えば、力のある VTuber ですと、テレビ CM に出たりとか、企業とのタイアップでお金をもらいながら、出面というか露出を増やしていくっていうような活動が可能になっています。
And VTubers like this one we're showing here, they are working with companies to show themselves in commercials. So this is also one interesting way to go forward.
厳しい現実もありまして、有名な VTuber じゃなかったりとか、なかなかビジネスの採算が合わず、引退してしまう VTuber がいたりとか、事業撤退してしまう会社があったり、いくつかのバーチャルタレントの事務所があったんですけども、そのうちのいくつかは今、なくなってしまってます。
So VTubers are not always successful like this one here. They cannot afford to run their business anymore. So this is terminate their business like this one here.
VTuber の方を総括しますと、人気のあって力のある VTuber は YouTube 以外での活動ができたり、特に音楽に力を入れている VTuber が生き残っているケースが多いです。それは、音楽イベントであったりとか、音楽配信というビジネスをすることが可能であって、可能だからです。一方で、人気が
ごめん、ちょっといい？
大丈夫です。はい。
ごめん。For the cable VTubers, one direction they are going is go to music. So, for example, they can do a live concert. So this way they can stay alive easier, so to speak.
そうですね。一方で、なかなか YouTube だけでのビジネスっていうのが今厳しくなっているっていうのが本当のところです。はい。
In conclusion, nowadays it's getting extremely difficult to live simply by YouTube. Period.
一方で、V ライバーと呼ばれる方の、状況についてご説明します。
And here I'm going to talk about V-Livers and how it is happening right now.
V ライバーの特徴として、グループですね。日本では箱ってよく言いますけど、グループごとを応援するという効果がまず期待できます。
The most obvious characteristic of V-Liver is going forward by a group of people. And in Japanese, we say box.
で、もう一つは関係性、キャラクター同士の関係性について、ユーザーが、そのコンテクストを楽しむっていうような、現象が見られます。
And the second one is so-called relative consumption. And we can cooperate with other brands or stuff like that. はい。
で、どうぞ。
どうぞ。はい。
で、彼らは、ライブ配信を中心に活動しているんですけれども、例えばキズナアイのような 3D モデルではなく、最初はイラストの 2D の見た目から、ある程度人気が出たら 3D に進化する。で、もっと人気が出たら、リアルでイベントをする。っていうような、そういう成長していくみたいなところを見せることが、見せているパターンが多いです。
We can say there is a pattern of growth here. They start from 2D illustration, and once they get more popular, they become 3D, and then they start to do a live event, so to speak.
実際に事例を見てみますと、ライブ配信自体が今 YouTube の中で伸びてるんですが、その中でも V ライバーの活躍はすごく目立っています。
So these are the actual examples of how V-Livers are getting more attention in so-called live chatting, live chatting, right? Okay.
彼らはVTuber と違って、高い頻度で頻繁に動画を配信するというところに重きを置いているので、2D の見た目でいいですし、2D の見た目で活動するからこそ、リアルタイムでの生配信を、大量に、実施することが可能です。
The difference between them and the actual people, YouTuber, is the frequency of showing new videos. And because it's 2D, it's a lot easier to get updated videos to YouTube.
で、実際これ、正確なものであるかは分かりませんが、ざっくりとした数字なんですけども、2020年の5月の V ライバーの中での、スーパーチャットの金額ですね。これ日本円ですが、1位の、ペコラちゃんに関しては、1000万近いスーパーチャット投げ銭ですね、を得ていることがわかります。
So the number here may not be 100% accurate, but the top one, she's getting nearly 10 million yen from this super chat.
ですので、かつグループでやっているので、平均数百万円みたいな稼ぐ VTuber が、20人いるグループであれば、かける20、そういった収益を稼いでいる会社さんもいます。
V-Livers are working in groups, so they need to share the profit. In that sense, if 20 people to share 10 million yen, and you can do a quick calculation there for how each one of the VTuber can make.
はい。で、また生配信で、ユーザーと直接コミュニケーションを毎日しているっていうところもあって、非常にエンゲージメントが高いです。
With the viewers, so the engagement level with the viewers are extremely high.
はい。なので、VTuber、V ライバー、総称して V タレントと呼んだときに、この V タレントみたいなものでビジネス的に成功するためには、今の時点でのおすすめとしては、こういった、箱型の V ライバーですね。要はグループの V ライバー。そして生配信をメインに活動するっていうのがまず一つあると思います。
So I'm using the word called V talent to include VTuber and also VLivers. And the conclusion for them to be successful is that they need to, number one, work in group, like a super chat. That's an example we said just now. And also the cooperation among the characters themselves, and put their relativeness as the obvious point to show to people.
そうですね。今多分コラボしてのところも話していただいた感じですよね。
あ、すいません。言っちゃった。
いえいえ。大丈夫です、大丈夫です。はい。そうですね。あとは、企業とタイアップすることができるような VTuber については、収入を得ながら、認知を高めていくっていうことが可能なので、うまくそういった企業案件と呼ばれる、企業とのタイアップをうまく利用していくっていうのがポイントだと思います。
And also working with major companies are the way to go, because by working with major companies, you can get money and also get your awareness up. So this is also one way to go.
はい。あとは企画の部分でいくと、例えばキャラクターのかなり VTuber の数、今、日本では1万を超えてます。1万体以上の VTuber がいるので、見た目的な差別化っていうのも非常に重要となってきます。なので、キャラクターのイラストや 3D モデルのクオリティにこだわる必要が今あるかなという形です。
Now in Japan, we have more than 10,000 VTubers already. So it is getting more and more important to make sure that your outlook is differentiated from other VTubers.
そうですね。あとは配信技術を適切に用いることも重要です。例えば、ライブ配信中心のV ライバーであれば、大掛かりなモーションキャプチャースタジオなどは不要で、むしろ自宅で、パソコン1台で配信できる、そういったツールの方がむしろ向いています。
Instead of using a major motion capturing optical style studio, it is also maybe recommendable to use personal motion capturing in your own house by one simple personal computer.
でまた今VR ですとか 5G、またメタバースですね。皆さんもフォートナイトでの、トラビス・スコットのライブなどご存知の方も多いと思うんですけども、そういった新しいこのテクノロジーっていうところの波に乗る、っていうのが重要かなというふうに思っています。
Another important point is to work with the new wave like VR, virtual reality, and also 5G networking. And ごめん、メタバースは何でしょう？わかりません。
仮想世界みたいなものですね。仮想世界。バーチャル世界みたいなものですね。
Virtual world. Meaning that another important point is to work with the virtual world.
Okay. そうですね。実際に、どんな事例があるかご紹介したいと思います。ちょっとこれ動画があるので、一つ目の動画流していただけますかね。
どうぞ。こちらで流すんですか？
いや、こちらでじゃあ流します。ちょっとお待ちください。
はい。
はい。
So we're gonna play back one video here for everybody.
今切り替えてます。またちょっと時間かかるかもしれません。 うまくいかないか。ちょっとやっぱり切り替えに時間かかるみたいですね。
It's taking a little bit time to switch to YouTube, so please.
後で、行きました。
そしたら、後で、
はい、
このリンクはここで流しますから。
わかりました。じゃあ、
すいません。
はい、戻ります。
はい。
今、パワーポイントは見えてますかね？
まだ。
パワーポイント見えてない。
まだです。
ちょっとお待ちください。
はい、
はい、ごめんなさい。出てる。動画の方出そうですね。
じゃあ流してください。
はい。
Okay, it's working now.
これが、シークレットスカイっていうアメリカの、音楽 DJ が、企画したバーチャルライブに、キズナイが出演させてもらった時の映像です。よければ YouTube にも載ってるので、ぜひ見ていただければと思います。
You can actually see this in YouTube, and this planning was done by a DJ from US.
でリアルタイムで、コメントだったりとか、この時は投げ銭がなかったですけども、スーパーチャットのような投げ銭で、インタラクティブに楽しむことができるっていうところが、今のこの時代でも、COVID-19 の時代でも、とても有効なビジネスモデルだと思います。
So as you can see the chatting from the viewers, so this is quite effective nowadays.
はい、すいません、一度戻ります。そうですね。
I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint.
そうですね。先ほど申し上げたように、人気のある VTuber に関しては、例えば音楽フェス、日本の最大の音楽フェスであるサマーソニックなんかにキズナイが出演したりとか、テレビに出演したり、そういった活動が広がってます。
So for Kizunai, she's joining in quite a lot of events. For example, the Summer Sonic event, she also participated in this event. Okay?
Okay. あとは VR ですね。VR コンテンツも、たくさん作られてます。VR のミュージックビデオであったりとか、VR 内でのライブ活動みたいなものです。
So we also make a lot of VR content, VR music contents.
で、先ほど企業とのタイアップっていうふうに申し上げましたけれども、例えばスマートフォン、ごめんなさい、通信キャリアであったりとか、あとは大きなカンファレンスや映画といったものと、タイアップすることで認知を広げながら、ビジネスを回していくことが可能です。
So we also work with quite a few major companies like mobile phone carriers, and by doing so, we have increased our awareness, of course, and also make some money.
同じような、事例の紹介になるので、割愛します。
So these are some more examples.
そうですね。ざっくり、日本における、バーチャルタレント、VTuber と V ライバーに分けて、今の現状みたいなものをお伝えしました。すいません。今日は翻訳しながらだったので、時間かかってしまいましたけれども、ざっくりとそんな感じになってます。
So today I've introduced to you guys the current status of VTubers and VLivers in Japan. I'm sorry I need to speak through translation and takes quite a bit time. Thank you so much.
ありがとうございます。あとは、はい。
次は質問ですか？まだ。
質問に移る前に、弊社の紹介の続きになるんですけども、
はい、どうぞ。
はい、VTuber を運用するための、スタジオがあったりとか、キャラクターの開発、あとはビジネスのサポート、あとはコラボのサポートみたいなこともしてます。
So this is about my company. We have been doing for VTubers and also the support for VTubers and also development for new VTuber characters.
はい、何か我々も世界的にこのバーチャルタレントの、をもっと盛り上げていきたいと思っているので、何かこの中で、ご相談とか、あればぜひ、ご連絡いただければと思います。
Activate, we also like to promote virtual talent in the world. So if there's anything like the items we've been doing, and we do welcome cooperation with us, please talk to us.
はい、以上です。すみません、ありがとうございました。質問
Thank you. Thank you so much. And above is my presentation. Do we have any questions for Mr. Osaka? Oh, okay.
讲中文。
OK 啊，这个因为报告上面大多都是这个 VLive 的一个数据报告啦，那有没有在日本这些 VTuber 的一个数据上调查上的一个报告，有没有做出一些行政上的改革，来提升这个 VTuber 他们创作上的一个革新，或者是说一些政策来让 VTuber 的这个流量再次提高？
よろしいですか？
はい、大丈夫です。
先ほど、VLivers、今盛んでいることは、おっしゃいましたけれども、その、はい、VLiver が現在のようになる前に、既存の VTuber に関して、例えばですね、どうやってその、ビューアー数とか、もうちょっと増やすことを考えてました？
VTuber ですか VLiver ですか？
質問は実際は VTuber の話ですね。VTuber に関して。はい。
そうですね。もちろんいろんな施策を通して増やそうとは考えてました。特に、コラボですとか、コラボによるユーザーの相互送客だったりとか、そういったことが中心ですね。あとはそのVLiver でおける生配信のように、生配信を超えるような、生配信に匹敵するような、アーカイブコンテンツは何かっていうのをいろいろ試してきました。初期においては、ミュージックビデオのようなコンテンツはかなり再生数を獲得してユーザーを獲得することにつながったんですけれども、結構今そのミュージックビデオっていうコンテンツも、世の中に溢れてきていて、ちょっと陳腐化してきている、コモディティ化してきているところではあります。
To answer your question, we did actually try by working with companies to get more views in YouTube. That's what we did that. We also did music-related stuff, and that's been also quite successful. Okay.
それでいいの？それでいいの
？Any other questions? We will take one more question.
我们是叫做 Wonders AI 啦，那我们是一家在做 MR live broadcasting 的这个应该说 MR VTuber 的概念的。那我们有想要跟他们做合作，但是有什么样的联络窗口是可以找到他们？等一下问我们就好了。等一下问你是。
質問じゃなくて、彼ら企業はですね、今 MR ライブをやってるんですよ。 大阪さんの方との連絡を取りたいんですけれども、後ほど私からなんかメールとかの連絡を教えてよろしいですか？
もちろんです。ぜひよろしくお願いします。
はい、わかりました。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
线上提问说，台湾这1、2年在发展 VTuber，
今、インターネットから質問1個がありまして、
那他对于台湾的发展有没有什么好的建议？跟之后的可是那一讲的话，有这么好的流量跟那个订阅率这样子。
台湾の VTuber への助言をお願いしたいんですが、
はい。
アドバイスですね。
アドバイスですか。そうですね。まずは、ぜひ日本の VTuber とコラボしていただければ、すごくいいと思います。まずは。
So first point, we would like them to work more closely with the VTubers in Japan.
あとは多分日本と同じことが起きると思うので、ライブ配信中心の、いわゆる V ライバーみたいな、フォーマットを重視していくのが有効かなと思います。
I think what happened in Japan can very much also happen in Taiwan. So I would really recommend them to focus more on the live broadcasting.
やはり盛り上げていくためには運営している会社さんが、利益を出していかないとなかなか続けられないと思うので、今日話したようなことが、を実践していただいて少しでもVTuber を増やすために成長させるために、ビジネス的な成功をしていただけると嬉しいなというふうに思っています。
Personally, I feel very happy if people can pay more attention to their burning rate because we still need to make the company profitable, and we'll be happy to work more closely in the future. Thank you. じゃあ、質問は以上です。OK。
はい。
じゃあ、今日はどうもありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。よろしくお願いします。
はい、ありがとうございました。Thank you.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Okay. So guys, we can take a 5 minutes break, and we have prepared something just next door, so you can take a drink there or eat something, right? Okay. Thank you.
外面有准备一些点心哦，那我们可以先取用没关系，然后可以到座位上吃。我们下一个讲者马上开始。 好，那就请我们各位回座。我们下一个讲师要马上开始了，谢谢。那你们可以打东西带回来没关系，带回来先坐着没关系。好，那我们准备开始喽。好，那个我们控台这边好了，没有吗？好，这边。
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We are about to start the third session. And the third session is going to be, we have Mr. Norman Wang here. And actually, he speaks Chinese, yeah? But unfortunately, we do not use Chinese today. And Glassbox Technology is quite an innovative and very interesting company we get to know through the years. And I'll leave it to him to talk about everything, all right? Okay.
Thanks, Christopher. Hello. So it's kind of interesting because I do speak Chinese, but I've been asked to give this presentation in English because apparently there's quite an online audience out there. So as Christopher said, we are a software developer. We develop virtual production tools with a focus on usability and democratization, ease of use and affordability. Recently, so last year we won the Lumiere Entertainment Technology Award, which was a very important award in the industry that recognizes our innovation in the field of advancing real-time virtual production. Our clients include the likes of Universal, Pixelmon, The Third Floor, Electronic Arts, DreamWorks, and also the speaker earlier today, Halon, Dan from Halon. So Halon is also a customer of ours. And we have offices around the world. Our headquarters is in Los Angeles, and we have an office in Germany and in Australia. I'm currently here in Taiwan because of COVID-19. As Dan said earlier, it's quite a mess in Los Angeles, and we decided that there's no reason for me to be on lockdown with the rest of the team, so here I am. And the talk today, I'm going to show a lot of videos, and a big part of this is kind of talking about the state of the industry, not specifically about what we do, but a little bit more about, oh, sorry, they want the camera, they want me on the camera. So a big part of today is kind of talking about the general trends. We talked about like the fact that the industry is going virtual, but why? What is the benefit of going virtual? How did this all come about? Because this is really an overnight revolution that was 10 years in the making. And I'm going to show you a couple examples. And we start with Lion King. And Lion King is very interesting because even though it was an animation, it had traditional cinematographers use traditional cinematography tools to film it. And it is powered by game engines. So in this case, Unity. So MPC used the Unity game engine to create a suite of virtual production tools that allowed the cinematographer to work inside of this animated environment, but using physical camera controls. And more recently, we have The Mandalorian. So I'm actually going to let this play through because it is very, very interesting. And for those of you that are attending this talk, I would imagine you're familiar with why The Mandalorian is such a groundbreaking production. I will go into this a little bit later, but something that was very, very interesting was that this is the first kind of blockbuster production that had game engine technology at its heart, not just as a visualization tool, but powering a sophisticated in-camera real-time visual effects pipeline. So a lot of the scenes that you're seeing right now is in fact a hybrid of physical props, live actors, and an extensive virtual set that was built in Unreal Engine and displayed on a massive LED volume. So for those of you that may not be familiar, this is kind of what I'm talking about. This has kind of captured a lot of industry attention at the moment, with many people around the world rushing to develop facilities just like this. And I'm not going to go into it too much, because like The Mandalorian, as groundbreaking as it is, isn't really the purpose of kind of what we're here today. We're kind of talking about the idea of virtual filmmaking and the tools that are making it possible. And the tool here is game engines. But to call them game engines isn't really fair, because they could do so much more than make video games. For example, the demonstration that we saw earlier today, when people are kind of talking about VTubers through visualization, they are done inside of game engines. So the best way to think about game engines really is a framework for creating real-time, potentially interactive content. And let it be something that is purely non-interactive, like in visual effects, or something that is interactive in very unusual ways, like a live YouTuber event. The technology of game engine has spread its wings, and it's now in more industry than ever. And as a matter of fact, sorry, I need to stay in camera. Okay. All right, I'm going to not move around now. They're now being branded creation engines, because they are able to do so much more than make video games. And so the whole idea of going real time, I'm not going to talk too much about the benefits of going real time, but in a word that most people would understand, it's kind of like the transition from film to digital in terms of photography. Back in the days when you're kind of trying to capture pictures using film, you didn't really know what it would look like until you developed it. So if you messed up, well, you messed up, and you have to go back and kind of take it again, or try to figure out a way to reset it. When it comes to digital photography, everything became immediate. So what you see was kind of what you got. And photographers are now able to kind of, after they took a picture, immediately examine. As a matter of fact, all the photographers here are probably kind of can identify with this. The fact that you took a picture, you instinctively look down and say, how good was the picture, right? Do I have to take it again? And with digital photography, there came a new generation of tools for photographers, like Photoshop. And those tools enabled digital photography to come into the mainstream. And likewise, Game Engine is that tool for real-time filmmaking, as we transition from traditional offline, non-real-time filmmaking into this new world of what you see is what you get. But I mentioned before that this is an overnight revolution that took 10 years. And to kind of go through what I mean by that, I have to kind of dial back time to 2009 and the company Lightstorm. So most of you may not know what Lightstorm is or what they do, but everyone knows about Avatar. So there's a really interesting tidbit in the history of film, in the history of this film, which is that James Cameron actually had a lot of problem trying to raise money for Avatar. And if you think about it, right, James Cameron was the most successful film director who had just completed Titanic. So how is it possible that a director like him couldn't get funding in Hollywood? Well, it's because what he was trying to do had too many technical hurdles that people thought were impossible to overcome. The first was that it's not animated. It's not an animated movie, and it's actually hybrid, where you have live actors whose performance needs to drive a virtual character. The second is that Pandora is not a place that you can go on location. It required a completely virtual world and virtual sets, the scale of which the film industry hasn't really seen at that time. And lastly, it's the fact that you need to mix live action character, virtual character, live action sets, and virtual sets all together. And so in order to make this possible, James Cameron was able to raise $10 million from Fox. And he spent 2 years with some of the best people in Hollywood to develop something now we know as virtual production. And virtual production at its core is about using technology to simulate what you normally have in a typical physical production. And it begins with the camera, or in this case, the virtual camera. And you can think of the virtual camera as a virtual reality without the headset. It used a combination of tracking technology and real-time rendering technology to give the director a window into this virtual world of Pandora. So Jim, when he was looking at the empty set, it wasn't an empty set to him. He was able to see what it would have looked like if he was shooting on Pandora. And interestingly enough, there's a lot of overlap with this technology, with gaming technology. John Lando, the producer on Avatar, gave an interview shortly after the film's release where he was kind of describing Jim, or James Cameron in this case, as playing a video game. Like his filmmaking process was like playing a super sophisticated video game. The second technology that was pioneered at the time, which now we see as pretty ubiquitous, is performance capture. And at the time, performance capture at this scale has not been done before. And it really is about digitizing the performance of a physical actor. And here we were talking about virtual humans, right? Digital humans. And this is the same technology from 10 years ago that is still driving the digital humans of today. But I will go into it a little bit later because most people can't afford $10 million to put something together. The third piece is real-time rendering. So for those of you who's not familiar with the term, real-time rendering means every frame that you're seeing is rendered as you're looking at it, more or less, rather than waiting for a renderer to kind of crunch the data for like hours to generate a frame. So James Cameron was able to use performance capture data from the actors that are transferred onto these digital actors, and then he was able to look at it and film it through his virtual cameras. And then, of course, there's virtual sets. Because you're dealing with a virtual set, everything is, well, virtual, as the name implies, which meant that you were able to modify it like you do with a physical set. But the modification is immediate, and you don't have to worry about breaking your sets. You don't have to worry about storing your sets, but you do have to worry about data management, which I will kind of talk about kind of later. Because what we've been doing is that we started the company working with a lot of the people who came from Avatar. We asked them kind of what tools did you have? And then we developed those tools. And then we asked them, well, what tools did you wish you have? And then we developed those tools too. So we'll kind of go into that a little bit later. And to recap, between virtual cameras, performance capture, and real-time rendering, Avatar was able to go from a concept that people didn't think was possible to, well, now the second most profitable film ever. But I consider that cheating because Endgame had to be re-released to beat the box office record. So I think that's cheating. So this technology is what made Avatar possible, where we were able to go from performance capture on a bare bone stage onto low resolution digital characters and then into the final images that you see. So I want to take a moment and talk about pipelines. Why was that important? Like what was special about virtual production? Like why couldn't Avatar have been done without virtual production? So let's think about like why we call pre-production and post-production and production. Like, what does that mean? Well, typically, pre-production means anything that happens, well, before production. And in this case, I mean principal photography. So everything that happens before that, we call it pre-production. And everything that happens after that, we call post-production. So over here, you can see on the diagram, story, concept design, storyboard, visualization, production design, these things generally happen before principal photography. So these are kind of categorized as pre-production. And then, of course, visual effects and editorial and all that, they're considered post-production because they have to be done after principal photography. So this is a super ideal layout because in reality, this is not what happens. This is closer to what happens in reality, right? Because a lot of people don't value pre-production. So it's almost like you're building a building without laying a foundation or or not having a blueprint. So what typically happens is that because the budget is not allocated in such a way to support extensive pre-production, everything is rushed because there's not much money there. And then people rush into principal photography without really knowing what they're going to do. So the directors have to figure it out while they're on set. And then that gets really expensive, and a lot of mistakes are going to be made. So that by the time things are done, because you only have access to these people for so long, you're rushed into post-production. And then you have editorial that's trying to figure it out, like what was shot, how it was shot, how to make sense of all this. And you have visual effects that are trying to fix the mistakes that you have during production. And then usually what happens is that you have to go back and do some pickup. And then maybe you have to do some more pickup. And maybe some more. And this is the typical kind of filmmaking when you don't have extensive pre-production. Virtual production kind of cuts through all this. It is a bridge between pre-production, production, and post-production. And this is very important in modern Hollywood visual effects driven film because there's really not much room for mistake. Everything is in such a tightly compressed schedule because let's think about the Marvel films. Well, before a film is released, you already know what's going to come after it. So every film has to be released within a very tightly compacted schedule. And there is so much post-production that is necessary and so few vendors that are able to deliver the quality of visual effects that are needed by this film. So the scheduling becomes like a very, very important part of all of this. And in order to schedule, you have to plan. So we're seeing more and more use of things like previs. So this is what Daniel talked about that Halon does. So Halon's one of the major previs providers alongside other friends like The Third Floor and Proof. But virtual production is kind of what allows all of this to kind of work together, such that we're using game engine technology to create low-resolution digital storyboards, which can then be developed into animated pre-visualization. And then as the assets gets more polished, as the director has an idea of what they're trying to capture, they now start being able to use these previs assets and content on sets during what we call kind of virtual, like the typical quote-unquote virtual production, where it's kind of like, some people call it augmented reality, some people call it mixed reality, but ultimately it's about using green screen and compositing to allow the filmmaker to see the virtual and the physical all together without having to kind of imagine what it would look like. And I know later on there's going to be a talk about the Asian film industry, so I'm going to kind of do a little bit of complaining right now, which is, even though this technology has been around for a very, very long time, its utilization in Asia is really very low. And the cost of it, I think there is a myth about the cost of using this technology, but I can guarantee you, however much you spend on doing this, you're going to save because you're going to make fewer mistakes. So I talked about Avatar a lot. But Avatar is kind of like where this started. It's not necessarily where the cutting edge is right now. Because as I'm sure we will hear about in the next speaker, is that online streaming platform really is the one driving the innovations in Hollywood right now. So this is a little bit out of date, but this is just a small snapshot of all the shows that are currently on the various OTT platforms. So we're talking about like Amazon Prime and Showtime and HBO Max and Netflix and Disney Plus and so on and so on, Apple TV Plus and iQIYI and Youku and Tencent and so on and so forth. There is so much need for original production because original content is kind of like the weapon that these platforms are using to fight this war of content. Like original content is your ammunition in this case because you have something that nobody else has, and that's your unique selling point. But it's also very, very hard on the visual effect companies who have to provide the visual effects for these for these productions, because unlike a typical movie production, you have between around 24 months to put together a production, going from pre-production to post. However, when it comes to online series, your first season may have about 18 months, and then your second season has to be done within 12 if you're lucky. And if you're not lucky, you have to wait for green light, then you have 8 months to do everything. So we're kind of talking about like a third of the time that a typical film would have. But in addition, you actually have way more visual effects because a film is typically 90 to 120 minutes. But a typical series, even a mini series, is like 6 hours. And as you can see over here, a lot of these productions are science fiction or fantasy of some kind or superheroes, and then they require just as much visual effects as your typical blockbuster film. And then because everybody is now watching the same movies, everybody have the same kind of expectation when it comes to the quality of your visual effects. So we come into this really, really strange universe where you have to do more in less time and not cost more. But this is kind of the thing, right? Like this is the universal truth. If you want something good and fast, then it's not going to be cheap. If you want something that's cheap and fast, then it's not going to be good. If you want something that's good and cheap, then it's not going to be fast. But the industry, because of the unreasonable limitations, I say unreasonable, but that's just a market-driven reality, of these OTT platforms needing to create an insane amount of original content, it's forcing the studio to really rethink how they are creating visual effects. And this is where kind of the story comes full circle, because this is when people start to look at, well, what about virtual production? How can that thing that made Avatar possible, how can we possibly benefit from that and allow us to kind of deal with this incredible pressure to generate more content in less time? This is where video games comes in. So this is Medal of Honor Allied Assault, a AAA computer game from back in 2002. I played a lot of this game, a shit ton of it. And then this is the Normandy landing that is depicted in this sequence. And you can kind of see the quality of the rendering was a little bit like what was in Avatar, for the pre-visualization part anyway. And that's because they're developed on mostly the same technology, so they have mostly the same constraints when it comes to the quality of the lighting and the effects and so on. But in 10 years' time, this is Call of Duty World War II, which is really only a few years old. Again, a AAA quality game running on consumer hardware, in this case an Xbox One. is now able to create a visual quality like this. And this is not pre-rendered at all. This is all done in real time on, let's be honest, pretty crappy hardware. So what's changed? What's changed to make this possible? Well, there's Moore's law, right? So in the 10 years between Medal of Honor, and when the new Call of Duty was released, we had an exponential growth in compute power. And because of this exponential growth in compute power, it allowed us to innovate with different techniques when it comes to rendering. A lot of things that couldn't have been done in real time is now able to be used in real time. So I'm going to go into a couple of slides from my GDC talk this year. So on the left, we have StarCraft Brood War. And this is the in-game cinematic from Star Wars, from StarCraft. And this was released in 1998. And Blizzard always had this kind of reputation for making excellent cinematic. So what I mean by excellent cinematic, well, take a look just for Legacy of the Void. The quality of the animation here is incredible. This is something that you can expect to see on a big screen, right? I would pay good money to watch an entire animated movie that is done like this. But let's think about sort of what it looks like now in game. So the same people in Blizzard that was thinking about how can we create the best looking cinematic in the kind of this pre-rendered offline setting, now are kind of turning their craft onto what they could do in game. So if you look at this, you're like, well, actually, I would still pay good money to watch an animated series that is done to this quality. And all of this is done entirely in real time. And since we're kind of here to talk about digital humans, well, let's talk about the advances in digital humans. So on the left, we have Final Fantasy: A Spirit Within, kind of a cinematic milestone when it comes to photoreal digital humans. And on the right, we have, well, again, a video game. In this case, The Order 1886. It's a pretty shit game, but it looks great. And you can see like the same sort of shot, same sort of character, but just like 14 years of technical advances has made it so that the state of the art is now something you can run in your living room. And this is also true for the Polar Express, and in this case, again, this is another cinematic milestone because it is the first movie to have been done entirely using performance capture. So the Polar Express, 2004, and then this is Battlefield 5, The Last Tiger. This is an excellent game, by the way, so if you haven't played it, go play it, it's great. It's like a war movie. And then because of these advances in real-time rendering, what we're seeing is a wide variety of applications that are now being done using Game Engine. So on top left, we have Safari from Digital Dimensions, which is an animated series for NBC Universal. Top right, we have Unity's real-time ray tracing demo, which is an advertisement for the new Mercedes-Benz. And on the bottom left, we have architectural visualization. And on the bottom right, we have the latest Unreal Engine tech demo from last year's GDC called Trolls. And this is done by the guys over at Goodbye Kansas. And this is entirely done with real-time ray tracing and all that. So this is kind of the reason why Game Engine are desperate to stop calling themselves Game Engine, because just the thought of calling them Game Engine limits your thinking about what is possible with this technology. So given this is a Taiwanese audience, I need to give a shout out to probably what I think is one of the greatest things to kind of come out of Taiwan in recent times. Because this here is done by one person, a single student did all this. I actually have quite a bit of time, so I'm just going to let this run. I'm going to kind of play through like the first 5 minutes of it. So I couldn't help but think that this is a dig at the conformist education of like in typical Asian countries. So yeah, and something to keep in mind, this is done by a single person who is actually just a student at the Taipei University of Technology. So it's kind of like there really isn't that much of an excuse to say, oh, it's too much or it's too difficult. A student could do this. Recently, there was a whole real-time filmmaking competition, which we sponsored by the guys over at McKinnon Scott. So what they, McKinnon Studios, they released a lot of content that were theirs, including a dance sequence and kind of there was like a modern warfare style of sequence, and it was just everybody had access to exactly the same content, but then it allowed filmmakers and cinematographers to kind of have their own take on how that sequence could be framed and use the magic of cinematography and editorial to kind of tell a unique story. And then, so this is kind of like giving rise to a whole new way of thinking about filmmaking.
Production is trying to essentially recreate in CG what has been done for the last 100 years in physical production.
We like to try and relate virtual production to traditional production. So virtual pre-production is previs and some of the tech viz and running up to the shoot. Then there's virtual production, which is simulcam and potentially some more tech viz. And then there's virtual post-production, which is post-viz. So taking the previs and compositing it onto the plates.
There's no other way to make the type of content that we are approaching. I can't fly to Pandora and shoot Avatar. There's no way to do that. You have to create some mechanism whereby the directors and the creatives involved get out there and actually produce their film in a meaningful way.
Game engines, which have recently become a very big part of virtual productions, they've really upped the quality of the render we're able to achieve. They've also allowed us to more accurately simulate the real world in terms of lighting.
Just in the last year and a half, the aesthetic of this stuff has just been cranked up and how much more we can do in real time.
Unreal is allowing us to compress the different divisions of viz.
So Daniel talked about some of this work before. So this is very much the way the industry is converging.
Just simply the fact that everything is live and you can have a conversation with the actors and you can make little changes, it just makes a better product. It just makes a better movie.
Make movies using virtual production, and particularly with Unreal and all the real-time capabilities, it's an opportunity to redesign the whole process of filmmaking.
So that's great, but I promise that we're going to be talking about tools that are accessible to people, right? Like not everyone. I would wager all of my savings, and most people here are not making the next Star Wars. But that doesn't mean these tools and technology are not accessible to you. And as a matter of fact, a lot of what we enjoy today in terms of cinematography tools and the likes of Unreal and Unity could be traced back to kind of much earlier when we have like Source Filmmaker, which was released in 2012, and CryEngine Cinebox, which was released in 2012 as well, interestingly enough. And there's a lot of kind of motivation that went into some of this stuff. Like Source Filmmaker was a way for Valve to make their own animated promotional piece. Whereas there's a very, very rich history of Cinebox, which we can't talk about, which if there's ever like a big expose in a few years' time, we will learn all about why Cinebox exists. But the point is, this is not the first time the film industry has attempted to make use of game engine to supplement parts of its process. All right, so we need to talk about democratization. This is kind of going back to my GDC slides again, because this is an interest that is shared, I think, by everybody, everywhere in the world. No matter whether or not you're like 1,000 people massive studio or you're a small independent filmmaker, there is a solution for you out there. You just need to be careful about why you're choosing a technology that you're choosing, because always there's trade-off. So we can go from one end, which is kind of like your live, offline, highly specialized pipeline that is specific to a studio. In this case, Weta. Or we can talk about kind of your professional grade facial capture solution for your AAA studios, where you're kind of getting that best balance between the quality and the cost. And then on the low end, you have something like the ARKit facial tracking. And in terms of the cost, this kind of scales with with the quality of the data that you're getting. I think there is a temptation for a lot of people to kind of oversell their technology. But I would say all of these different tiers of solution exist for a reason, because there is a demand in the market, and that there is these different solutions will give you data of different quality. So you just have to be able to kind of be realistic about what is the quality of the data that I need, how much money do I need to spend on post-production, and what is sort of the budget limitations of the show that I'm doing. We already talked a little bit about real-time rendering. And we are also going from a highly specialized custom-built solution that is specific to a studio, going down to, well, something that you will find like in a kind of a supercomputer. Like you wouldn't really build it, you wouldn't find it in your home, but you can definitely afford it if you're a studio with these needs. And then on the lowest end, and not to take anything away, is that we take shortcuts and various innovations to allow highly realistic content to be run on something you'll find in your living room. So again, there is a need for all of these things. Like we're not going to have a fully ray trace environment running on a machine that you can fit in your living room. Although with that said, it seems that PlayStation 5 is getting pretty damn close. And then camera tracking. So I actually was thought about kind of bringing a bit of a demo with me today. Because these are the areas that we are very involved in. And I have to talk a little bit about sort of what we do as a company. And just like we were talking about before, we have different tiers of camera tracking, like we have different tiers of rendering and performance capture solution. We've also got different tiers of camera tracking solution, where we have on the high end something like the Techno Crane that costs upwards of $1 million. This is US dollars. And then we have optical motion capture, which can cost you tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then you also have consumer-centric technologies like the Vive Tracker and the ARKit and so on. So we're literally going from something that will cost you millions of dollars to something that will cost you hundreds of dollars. And this is sort of what I'm talking about in terms of democratization, that I think there is a vested interest from people to kind of create this illusion that it's very difficult to do these things or it's very expensive. But in truth, I think these technologies are now more approachable than ever. And this is a segue into kind of what we do as a company. We make tools. We make virtual cinematography tools and virtual production tools. And there's a lot of stuff currently in research and development. But there's a bunch of stuff that I can show you today. And the one tool that is in a lot of studios right now is called Dragonfly. And it's our take on the virtual cinematography solution that was originally developed for Avatar, but kind of reinvented on the foundation of modern technology. So here you have guys from the third floor using Dragonfly on their Game of Thrones experience. And here's a case study by a good friend called Haz. He used our technology on a project called Battlesuits.
Hi, my name is Hazrat Akhtar, and I'm a director working in feature films and television. My latest project is the animated proof of concept, Battlesuits. Battlesuits is based on a graphic novel called The Theory, published by Steampunk Comics, for which a television series is currently in development. Now, we only had 4 months to put this together, with a small team of 3, including myself. We decided earlier on that we were going to take a really tight approach, mainly because of the low-budget and tight schedule we had for this ambitious project. We used FX Unreal Engine to produce the entire animated episode. For the warzone sequence in the film, I really wanted that visceral, raw, handheld action fight to the camera work. And I quickly realized that trying to keyframe that level of action would have been very slow and unproductive. So this is where I looked at Dragonfly, built by Glassbox Technology. Now, Dragonfly is a virtual camera plugin for Unreal Engine and its companion application for the iPad. So now I had a lightweight wireless virtual camera in my hands, easy to operate with the game-wise controllers attached to it, without the need of a huge studio space or teams to set up and operate. In fact, the team on this was just one artist on a Razer laptop and me doing the camera moves, and that was it.
So this is kind of our, the core of kind of what we do. So Haz here is using Dragonfly on a combination of iPad and game device. However, as you saw in the previous picture, Dragonfly also supports higher level, more professional tracking solutions. So I think there is kind of something I want to warn, like it's a bit of a false dichotomy that you can't have the same tool that are powering the highest and most sophisticated production and also be approachable to your independent filmmakers. They do have different needs, but ultimately what you're looking for is a simulation of a physical camera. And then the next piece of technology that we have is called Live Client. And this is actually the first thing that Glassbox did before we even called Glassbox in this industry. Out there, we have the company Axis that uses the Faceware facial capture solution. So we actually developed the plugin, the official plugin for Faceware's facial capture solution to communicate with Unreal Engine. And we did this actually all the way back in 2015. And the reason why we're kind of where we are today was because we're really one of the first people to get into this real-time virtual production with a strong intention of turning what we built into products.
Unreal Engine 4 was designed from the ground up to be modular and scalable. We have quite a few partners that are building plugins for their tools to put up on our marketplace. And so we had Faceware down, and they specialize in doing facial tracking through video.
Essentially, the features of your face as your markers, and then we can extract motion from just simple video and then apply that to a character.
Your plugin is very straightforward. You have to pair up some of the blend shapes with target shapes. And then after that, tweak the blend shapes for the actor himself, and then it's good to go.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So today we're using the Vicon motion capture system to bring in body mocap into our engine via the Pegasus plugin made by the folks at Iconma, having it look as good as possible.
So we have a full actor running around and talking and emoting at the same time.
So something to note is that even though like virtual YouTubers and all these digital humans is kind of like something we just started to talk about, the film industry has been working with this technology for years. It's just that we didn't call it avatars, we didn't call it digital human, we call it digital doubles and all that. So the technology that we're seeing today is not groundbreaking. They are just reasonable evolutions of what we already have, but put into a much more affordable and much more available packaging. And the last thing that I could talk about, but it's a bit hard to show, is our flagship product called Beehive. And early, like when in the very beginning of the presentation, I talked about we talked to the Avatar team about what they wish they had on Avatar, and what they wish they had was Beehive, which is a tool that allows for multi-user, multi-tool collaboration, and with real-time versioning of your scene information. So if you need to create new versions of a scene for a particular shot that you're trying to create, Beehive will capture that for you. So you don't have to save a dozen different copies of your level and call it like level final or final 2 or final 3 or real final, whatever it may be. We will manage that for you. And this integrates entirely with our virtual cinematography solution so that the engine and all of the technology knows what is the state of the world when you made that shot. So when you're playing back that shot, we're going to seamlessly and in real time restore everything to that exact moment in time. So we have this complete real-time workflow, going from something that would normally take, back in the days, it would have taken hours to iterate on a change. In using more modern tools, it would have taken about 10, 15 minutes to iterate on a change and to track it properly. But for us, it takes no time at all. Everything is in real time. And we developed this because as things become more real time, asset and data management actually becomes your new bottleneck. Because prior to doing all this, your bottleneck would have been in your your production management or your rendering and all that. But now, because everything is in real time, we needed a tool to manage the data in real time, to manage the flow of data between applications and different parts of your pipeline in real time. So I couldn't really show you that today because of the setup, but we did a talk recently at the Real Time Technology Conference. So the video where we gave a live demo where I was the director in Taiwan, and we had our team member in San Francisco and Germany act as the virtual art department and the virtual production supervisor. So we're able to have a shoot completely distributed using nothing except for Beehive and Dragonfly to do all of our data management. And in closing, I think I have about 5 minutes before the Q&A. So I think reasonably well timed. Virtual filmmaking is now at the front and center of Hollywood. And previously, there's resistance to using this technology, which is why it took so long between Avatar and now for this technology to kind of become more common. Because people didn't really see a need to change the way they work. They could continue to do the things they always done, and it wasn't bad. And where it was necessary, they introduced these technology kind of in parts that are important, like for example, for communication. But because of COVID-19, we're now in a really strange situation where people just couldn't be on set. Because people could no longer be on set, or much fewer people are able to be on set, because of a restriction that they couldn't just work around, because people's lives are at stake. They have to think about how to do things differently. So virtual filmmaking is now considered to be the key of reopening Hollywood. And it's not just one opinion. It's really something that's fairly common in that a lot of people from various different parts of the industry are converging on the same solution. And the early adopters of this technology are now the ones reaping the benefits. Because back in the days, they invested in virtual production to solve specific problems or to produce content more rapidly. And now, these are the people that are kind of at the front and center, again, of the industry reopening. People like Dan that you saw earlier today from Halon, all of these different teams, they invested early in this technology, and now they're the ones reaping the benefits. And this is kind of speaking to the audience here in Taiwan. It's like you have a very unique opportunity right now. The world is on a standstill, but you are not. There is really no excuse to not get into this technology and catch up. If you are kind of lucky enough to not be affected by the pandemic and you work in this industry, now is the time to get into this, because this is going to be the shape of things to come. Once the world gets used to doing things this way, they are not going to want to go back, because they will realize how cheap things can be. We no longer have to fight this thing where it's like, oh, but I don't know how much it's going to cost. Oh, I'm just going to do the things the way I always done it. It's like, no, this is the moment where people really step over that threshold because they didn't have any more options. They have to do things this way. And that is going to change how they're going to approach filmmaking forever. And then now kind of wrapping everything back up, digital YouTubers. I also want to say, I talk about film industry a lot because sort of this is the topic of my talk and this is where we're involved in. But the same technology we use are also being used to drive things that are probably a bit closer to digital influencers and digital humans. And in this particular case, I want to draw your attention perhaps to a particular digital human that you may not be so familiar with. Because I think Asia and Taiwan and Japan and all that have this kind of fixation with anime cartoony characters. And I just want to take this opportunity to introduce you to say, well, maybe think a little bit more broadly. Especially if you are a film company, if you manage physical talent, think about digitizing your talent. Think about purely digital talents, not just cartoony YouTubers that does cutesy stuff and kind of make money out of super chats on YouTube and donations on Twitch. Think about the fact that you can now, because of this new way of making film, you can create digital talent that lives inside your animated series. Imagine if you have multiple companies all making animations right now and they're casting your virtual actor. So little Michaela, people can Google, jump on Instagram right now. She has 2.4 million Instagram viewers, right? It's insane. She's so popular. You can actually, if you type Lil Michaela, you have really strange people asking, does she have a boyfriend? And really just kind of strange things. But I kind of want to say, you can think beyond your comfort zone. There is way more out there in the international market than just kind of cutesy anime characters doing a bit of doing a dance and a song routine. There is an entire market out there that people are now exploiting using this new generation of technology. To the point where you have talent agencies like the Creative Artists Agency signing digital talents. Everyone is now on the same level playing field. You're using the same technology that these people are using. It's not expensive. It's not going to cost you avatar money to get into it. You just need to be willing to take the chance and kind of embrace the opportunity that is in front of you. In closing, we're hiring right now. So if there's anyone here that would like to apply for a job, talk to me later. This is going to be our biggest year. We're incredibly busy right now. And this is really driven by the industry demands. So if you'd like to apply, talk to me later. I'll be here. Thank you. All right, Q&A.
Yeah. Right, thank you, Norman. Fantastic speech. Do we have a question here for Norman? Okay, please.
想请问就是这个 Beehive 的这个环境当中，他们有任何程式语言可以支援吗？Beehive 就是你推的这个环境的这个架设，这个程式环境，他们是用 Frame 的方式去呈现，还是他们是 Game Mode 的方式去呈现
是用 Avatar， 然后我们现在正在开发 Game Mode。
OK， 我知道了。
它支援 Unreal Unity。Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay. Okay. 哦，我们这边有一位，不好意思。
So Unreal Engine 5 is coming out pretty soon with Lumen and Nanite. How are you guys preparing for that? Because that's probably going to be a big change as well.
Yeah.
So we don't have to like rush it up and down. Okay, so that's a really good question. Unreal Engine 5 is really like a logical evolution of Unreal Engine 4. Like Epic has said that in their announcement. We knew something big was coming, we just didn't quite expect it to be Unreal Engine 5. And they engineered it as an evolution because it's forwards compatible. And the idea is that anything you build today will be cross-compatible with Unreal Engine 5, which, as you said, has Nanite and Lumen. Lumen doesn't really bother us too much because it's really just a kind of a formalized version of their real-time ray tracing framework. Currently, if you try the real-time ray tracing, there's a great deal of limitations in terms of what you can and cannot ray trace. And like Unreal has been making a very impressive effort to improve that with every release. And I think the combination of all this effort is going to be seen in Lumen. So Lumen doesn't really bother us too much. Because fundamentally, ray tracing and material representations and so on is something that Unreal already handled pretty well, and we already handle pretty well. And so long as it remains forwards compatible, we should be able to support that. Nanite is actually a really different story. And Nanite is kind of like something that didn't quite come out of the left field, but people really didn't think we will be at a point where we can use this technology for real-time rendering. And because if you kind of look at the technology of Nanite, there's actually already a microgeometry paper that was published by, I think, Disney Research a couple years ago, talking about there is really no sense in representing like a pixel on screen with more than one polygon. So the idea of like a fragment and your polygon is now sort of one and the same. And the fact that Epic took this approach comes from a place where we now have incredible performance in our storage solution, so that all of these data are now able to be kind of more readily retrieved from like disk caches, and we now have way more VRAM than ever before, and so on. So using that way of dealing with data, they didn't have to kind of use the traditional approach where they put everything into VRAM. So they were able to kind of keep these super high resolution models and so on disk, and then gradually kind of grab that and put it into Engine. So Nanite, I expect will be a significant technical challenge. We don't know whether Beehive can handle billions of polygons. We know you can handle many millions. but it remains to be seen, and we're working closely with Epic on this.
Right. Okay. Last question. Do we have a last question? Okay. Well, in the case, we have to thank Norman for his wonderful speech. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, in today's four speakers, the last one is actually my personal favorite. And because this gentleman always smiles when you talk to him, and he's a very generous person, so we're going to welcome Mr. Phil Tang to share with us his success, how he brings his story to be working together with Netflix. And as I said earlier, the story has been in good review, not just in Taiwan, but also Japan, UK, and US. Okay, now we have to, I think we're just setting up, right? Okay, so yeah, and when I spoke to him and asked him to share with everybody, and I think he's quite generous to do that. And his experience to me is not just useful for film companies or TV series producers in Taiwan, but throughout Asia. Because once you got your work to companies like Netflix or Disney Plus or Hulu, I think you are talking to the global market instead of getting to each market one by yourself. All right? Okay. Right, now, Mr. Phil Tang. Thank you.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Oh, okay. Excuse me. Didn't work? Somebody help me? Sorry, that's my budget. Everybody knows. A bad friends. And okay. Why? There's no. Somebody help me? Hi, I'm Captain Taiwan today. Okay, but this 但是它不是第一页啊，不管了，这是出来这样子，就是这样嘛。OK， 还是就这样放大好。OK。Good.
Oh, this is Keynote. Is it Keynote? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Hi, I'm Phil Tang, Greener Grass Production, Taiwan. And sorry, my English is not very good. But Christopher asked me to use English. Okay. And he gives the name OTT, the shortcut to a global market for Asian production companies. For me, it's a difficult things. Okay, first I want to introduce myself. I'm the general manager of Greener Grass Productions, and also another company called Monomys Films Columnist. And I'm a teaching professor of National Genji University, and I do some reviews authors. Okay, that's me. I have maybe this 2 years of maybe everybody knows drama is called The World Between Us, is on HBO and PTS, Public Television Station, and now is still on the Netflix. That is called Victims Game, and the others is all past, so forget about that. And the truth is, there is no shortcut to the global market for Asian production companies. So I don't think there's no shortcut to anything. Huh? So let me tell you about one thing. Maybe now is a global is this. If we start to think about the global markets, what is the global markets? So I have some experience can tell you. In 2010, I go to the Shanghai World Expo, and I learned about the future and about the world is making a progress on some technology and for the human beings. Then that's given me so many ideas about the drama. Then 5 years later, I went to Milan. It's a new topic in Milan World Expo. It's talking about artificial and some planets. So that's give me another ideas to making some dramas. Then for me, I learned so much from the world, and I know if we want to have a new views and then have a new market for Asia, just like Taiwan, we're not Hollywood, we're not Bollywood, we're not Korea. So how can we do? Although we have Chinese audience, I should say, who speaks Chinese, understand Chinese in the world. There's so many Chinese in the world. But how can we do? Then I have this. It's called 2049. I have an idea about if we have a future to 2049, what will be the Asia's new face in the next century? So I just led a story about 2049. Because why? Because 100 years ago, 1949 is a very unique years, just like the migration of Chinese from China and Hong Kong to all over the world, and the first nuclear bomb testing by Soviet Union, and the reconnection of Indonesia's independence by Holland. Of course, the government of China's government in Taiwan, we. Okay, so I think if we can see that a change and a division in the Asian politics and economic and culture in 100 years, what can we do? Then I have this idea. We can solve the inners of the human race, but the psychological aspect still remains of a mystery. And I have my friends have a workshop. It's called 2049 Creative Workshop for the Future. Everybody give me so many ideas about the future. Then the directors and the scriptwriters start this. Okay, you can see this is the 2049. Now we are still on editing. Okay, this 2049. Well, I think this is maybe we have a connection with all of you because you are some guys from Technique and some animation. Then actually we are working with animation with Bruce. Where's Bruce and Mason? Yes, is Zensus, right? It's from Zensus. You're helping me do the animation, and I think this is for me is a new experience because although I have 20 years making drama, making some programs, but for me is a very new experience for doing this. It's very hard. Okay, why I'm talking about Chinese? Then let me have another things to talk about. Everybody know Tower of Babel. Is a story that the gods once let people don't cross the gods. So, but so they that every human beings have different language, has different cultures. Then he thinks it thinks that it can make human beings separate. But you know, in this year, right now, we can have any way to across the countries, culture, everything. For example, I think everyone have seen these two movies. Is a very box office good in Taiwan. There is a Korean movie and Indian movies. Then here's the Thailand movies and the Spanish movies. They are very popular in Taiwan. Taiwan's can watch every films from different country because we can watch the subtitle. Subtitle for us is a common things for us. It's a very ordinary days for us. Everybody, we watch TV and we watch the subtitle too. Then you know, Taiwan some company know. Oh, okay, if Taiwan can accept any kind of the film, so they come to they find overseas to the other countries film. For example, I don't think everybody knows that My Brother is the Boss, which is the country. Which country is making these movies? Maybe you can guess, but I can tell you that it's in Mongolia, and here is the Vietnam. This movies above also can watch in Taiwan, see in Taiwan. So you can see on your MOD or can find some OTT in Taiwan. You can watch every country from every. You can see so many films from so many places. Then here's Philippines, and one day I just see the Wikipedias, and I find very interesting things. No matter, I think English is the most used language in the world, also in Wikipedia. But I found out there's a language is very maybe first I think which country is Cebuanos. 是这样念吗? Cebuanos. Then in over 100 million units in the Wikipedia, now is the second in the language use. So I think very strange about why this. I even don't know which language is. Then I know it's from Philippines. You know, Philippines, they speak this English is maybe you can see the blue parts. It's not so many people in the world, but they doing this, use the web, use the very popular website. So why they do this? I'm curious about this. Everybody knows in the Filipinos in the world, they earn so much money from overseas. Then so many Filipinos in the world. Then they provide so many GDP to their mother countries. And then I found out the Filipinos like to join the singing competition in the world. If you go to Greece, you will go to Italy, you can see, why Filipinos join the singing competition and get the very, very high numbers. So I think this is a Filipinos policy to the world. So, okay, to the media. I know one company from Philippines is called GMA. They mail every week about their drama selling to the world. So you can see that Myanmar, Latin America, Kenya, Kazakhstan, and also Ecuador. Okay, how Asian go to the global market. We used to sell the license to the world, but now we have streaming, we have OTT, so we can have a little ways to the world, to the global market. Here is a very famous group called BTS. Spotify streaming, we know Spotify. Maybe they are the number one in Spotify. Then K-pop now is very popular in the world. Which one is the most is the streaming the most? United States and Indonesia, Philippines, Japan, Brazil, Mexico, Thailand, Malaysia, Canada. Okay. And you can see the numbers. They are very popular in the world. So, and then they even join to the not the same language with them. K-pop is Korean. So Egypt, Vietnam, France, and Colombia is on the progress. So increase maybe 30 in Vietnam. So I think they're doing very well in the world. Okay, here is the LG TV from our my company. Oh, okay, you can see there are so many what is called app here. So we can watch everything we want. We don't need to follow the TV station. This is happened in 10 years. Then here's the we can choose the channel. We can use Catch Play Netflix very easily. Here's my phones. That you can see that so many apps I used. This is one. This is maybe you can find something because I use them every day, and I found very interesting things. And you see this. Here's a BTS and Madonna. They have their own app, and I think everybody knows this app give our life more convenient and give our fun. So I think this is a new way to the global market, because if we have one here, then we can we can to audience. We have subtitle, we have translation. We can have this. So here is a very good example for you. You know The Voice. Maybe everybody knows is very popular in the world. The Voice Global. Now you can watch. There is maybe more than 20 editions in the world, because they have Voice Teens, Voice Kids. Now very senior. So you can see in the whole world, the original version is from Holland. Then every country use this format, buy this format to their own country's version. Then if you open your YouTube, you can find The Voice Global. Okay, all this is The Voice different edition. Even Afghanistan have Myanmar have their own voice. Okay, YouTube is from 2005. Then they say broadcast yourself. That has been the most big free media, but last year they have the members from Taiwan for paying the money. So now it's not most free media. So we have to pay to watch. You can choose to pay because they have their own original drama programs. Then if we find out TED is also from the 2006, almost that years. So at that years I watched TED, and I find that they have they also use the YouTube. And if we from all over the world, they have so many volunteers to help to translate everything. So, for example, it is for Myanmar. So YouTube has this very nice function for everyone to watch TED, very good speech. Then maybe more than 100 languages and so many translators and translations we can watch in TED. Everyone here maybe watched there is a web TV from China. It's called PP Station. Maybe in that years, maybe the same with the YouTube and the TED. They have a copy from every movie drama. Then they have a fan subtitle. Fan sub. They doing so many translations from the world. So maybe one drama from America, and 10 hours later, the Chinese they translation and then put in the PPS station. That years we learned so much from that. Okay, all this we're talking about Netflix. In season 2, they have 1.8 billion members. Now they have their models to the world. So just one program, they just do the translations. They can show to the world. So maybe 2 years, there is a Taiwanese drama called 你的孩子不是你的孩子. I don't know how to say it in English. So they maybe the first drama in the world by Taiwan production. I should say that it's a new drama from Taiwan at that time. Then immediately in the Netflix, but because in Taiwan they don't give them original. They don't give N because they still sell to the other OTT or TV stations. So for Netflix, they don't think this is original. Then these 2 years, Warner Disney and the Central Fox. Warner Disney buys Central Fox next year. Then they have Disney Plus and HBO Max. I think this year in United States they have, but HBO Go now maybe 10 years in the world. Now today, I just heard that HBO Go is open to everyone in Taiwan. So maybe you can join HBO Go. It's not OTT. Okay, HBO still use the same policy. They can watch one drama use so many languages. And Amazon Prime Video. 2 years ago, I joined them. So I don't think everybody use this, but I think the drama they produced is very nice. They even have the have doing this. They have the sub, making a sub. So we can just watch subtitle, and we can choose to listen the Chinese language dubbing. So it's very I don't know Prime Video why they do this. They're doing Chinese dubbing in the drama. Okay, last year we have Apple TV, and everybody use Line TV. And I think now for us there is a good progress for us, because a content provider just like me can with the investor we can do our own way. Then we sell it to OTT media, social media, and the TV station, and we can contact straightly from the audience member agency, and we can do marketing with ourselves, and also have some of the enterprise give us budget to produce. So and I know that all this is from global. I have an idea that if we're doing this, maybe global market we can open. So 2 years ago, I have produced it's called World Between Us. We before we sell this license, we produced and we shooting. After we shooting and we cut everything, then we go to the market to sell. Then HBO and Netflix and so many OTT and TV station wants this because they think this is a nice drama. Then Catch Play and HBO Asia, they have the very good marketing plans. So public television stations sold it to these two companies. Then everybody knows this is for me this is a very good experience for making drama because before doing this we do a big data research. 大数据哈，我不知道英文怎么讲 ，big data research I don't know. This is the first data research on drama. After we finish the script writing, then we start shooting, and after we cut the trailer and the 10 episodes, we started to sell. So it's a different way from Taiwan. It's a new way. So after that, we started doing marketing. Okay, here is the OTT from the public station. In the first day to the end of the episodes, Public TV Plus making a very good progress. The member increasing 30万多少 33,000 yes members. So it's a very big jump for the Public TV because they use this their first OTT streaming TV. So I think for them is because they before if they want to earn money, they have to sell the DVD, VCD, or sell some of the license, but it's not a very nice price for everyone. But the work between us, because this is a good drama and a good topic for everyone, so they can have this nice selling them. So for us, it's a good sample. This is Catch Play. They also have a very good increasing in members. And first, HBO Asia to this 22 country and area to watch the War Between Us. And after this, they sold the rising to North America, Japan, and I think they now have for this IP we call intellectual IP 怎么讲 intellectual property. 对，we have now we sell the stories to Japan and United States. They want to reproduce for this, and maybe next month, maybe October, there is a stage drama in Taipei, 国家剧院 maybe. So if you can find a different way to watch the story, I think the IP is good, so we can sell it to so many places. Here's the picture is we won the Golden Bells Awards. Okay, for the Netflix, I know that if you open your Netflix, you can find out that they have very nice screen 界面怎么讲？就是会有一个很好的 interface. They have a nice interface. You can find that they separate every kinds of the genre for us to choose. So my company starts thinking that if we're doing this, maybe we can start to have our own. So our company is Greener Grass, so we start to doing gold grass, red grass, purple grass, pink grass, sky grass. Every grass we're doing a different genre. Just such as red grass we're doing crime, action, detective, and purple grass we're doing mystery, thriller, fantasy, horror. So we have idea that if we're doing this, we can find the right writers. They have really good at this kind of the genre. So when now this in these 2 years we start these plans, and maybe next month we have a film called 逃出立法院. I even forget the English name. Is from the Purple Grass, and the victims game is just from the Red Grass. Okay. Because I have I watched one of the reports from the 全球电视剧年报. Maybe it's called World TV News Anniversary report. Yeah. So they found that in the world, the crime kinds of the genre is the most viewer to doing. So we know that if we want to go to the global markets, we should do in this. So we have the victims game. we find out that if we want to, just like the World Between Us, I found so many big stars. Maybe one drama can find this drama can do in three-hour drama. So the victim games is doing the same. All this the big star and superstar in Taiwan or using Chinese. Okay, this is from a novel. It's called The Fourth Victims, 第四名被害者. Then we after maybe 5 years we have the scripts written. Then we start to shoot. First, Fox interested in this, but at that time, Fox is sold to Disney, so we seized the collaboration. So then, Taiwan have two companies have invested us, and after just like the World Between Us, after all doing the same, we sell into the Netflix, and we selling exclusively to the Netflix. So we can see Netflix have this symbol and Netflix. So it's a new way for Taiwan's drama, because there are no dramas just like the World Between Us. We can have the same time in the 190 country premieres at the same time. So for us, it's a very new way. And the most important that Netflix put every episodes at one time. This experience for me, I haven't this experience before. Just like movies, because if you are serious, you can 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 day, 2 days, everybody watch, and then have everybody talking about that. Then everyone, maybe it's good, it's bad, then we change the viewers' attitude to watch. But here, the victims games for me is new, just like a film, because film just like if we have premiere, then we everybody watched and talking about that. But for 8 episodes one time, for me is a new experience. Then, because Netflix and Corona-19 is coming, so Netflix told us that we have to stop every marketing events. So it's a global for Netflix. They stop. So they told us that okay, no press conference, no, you cannot do anything. Then when we think, oh, okay, what can we do? So we asked Netflix that if we can have some VIP to premiere on the Netflix, so then you give it maybe. So we start to choose some of the members, some of the good director, writers, and some viewers. Maybe they writing some of the article in the newspaper, or some YouTuber. We let them on the we give them premiere to watch on the Netflix first. Then so they have watched episode 1 and episode 2. So after that we ask them to give some words, just like a very famous Taiwan's writers called Hou Wen-yong. Now they give us that it's a new milestone in Taiwan drama. Then we have so many people, friends, and the actor, actress in Taiwan watch this, and we invite them to our company to watch. And at the first day, we become the number one in Taiwan Netflix. Because we don't have the press conference, so Netflix with us, we think about we can do an online promotion. So we invite all the actor and actress online to doing this, and we have Huang Zijiao to host this. Okay, you can then at the premiere day we're doing this. We think that we can have more people to watch this, and we have the we have the books. It's all the scripts we printed, and we before we premiere we work with the so here pictures, yeah. So we have all the scripts here, and 桌游怎么讲 Yeah, here. Next Victims is a very interesting, and now他们卖了第二刷了，叫什么 Second edition, right.
Second print.
Yeah. Okay, then. And so many things happened after that, because just like this, this is the game, okay, and this is from IG. I think it's very interesting. Everyone now talking about our dramas, and the most interesting is 总裁，谁是被害才is very interesting. Okay, and because there will be very we need so many music and the songs in this drama, so we work with the 华研唱片。华研唱片叫什么英文名字？我忘了。
华研 Record.
No. him. Okay, and I find that so many Korean drama use English for there. So we have 5 songs, and including 1 English songs. So all these songs on the music KKBOX music top 10 or top 20, I think, is very popular. And we also invite that side is Singapore 联合早报, and this is China Post. And we also invite Thailand's friends and Japan. And I think this is Russia or Poland, I don't know, okay? And this is maybe from Canada, or I don't remember. And we after premiere we have 20 days in number 1 Taiwan, and we were top 10 in Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, and we are number 1 in Hong Kong, maybe 1 week or 2 weeks. And most exciting moment is coming. According to the magazine it's called Observer, I think. They say that, look at this, perhaps the experience by the Taiwanese crime drama, because they think that the coronavirus make everybody in their own house to watch this. So we have a very nice job. You can see that here's all rundown of the members for the Parrot. Victims Games in that week, in the whole world, okay, in whole world, they have 2,783 points per. Then we are honored for this, because we are exciting for this moment. It's a very nice because there are so many famous drama movie here. So they give us a very nice data to doing this. Okay. Okay, I think if we want to do a film or drama to the world, I think there is something we should notice about, because I think you should know the general, because just like I said, in the all the audience, all the members watched OTT. They want to find their own. Just like this years in Taiwan, there are BL, how to say, Boy Love, is famous in Taiwan, and Thailand and Japan, and because this is a very small group to watch this, but if we including the whole world, there's so many people watch this, and then the BL drama in Thailand, they have events there, and how many tickets sales and how much. I think they say that maybe 2,000 Taiwan dollars for one events for them. So for them is a very nice income. Then I think local and global, just like the Victims Games, all the stories from Taiwan, and we make it more for local style. But for the general, it's a detective and maybe suspensive. So it's for whole world, they watch this most. It's crime. They love crime drama. So I think crime drama maybe is a new way to the world. Then I think in Taiwan we can have TV, film, music, and just like you, for some technique or animation, if we can have a very, very good collaboration, we can do more good stories than, because now the story we think of, we thought is maybe it's hard to produce. 那个 Christopher 你翻译好了，什么？就是说我的意思就是说，现在更多的片子它的特效要更高，更需要更高的。
More and more productions need special effects to get the quality.
Yeah, special effects. 我刚刚忘了，所以故意问你。对，所以就是我的意思就是说，其实我们觉得我们技术跟艺术的提升一定要并走，除了故事的很重要以外，就是全球的人在看电视节目，他需要你更多。其实你们看韩国，他们在技术上面的提升，也让他们的艺术上面可以以及观众得到更好的。啊？什么？我的意思就是说 ，for me, if we can have this special effects, and we can have the arts and the storytelling good for all around the world, they watch. They have no limits to watch this. So for me, it's a very important things. And you know that 会员经济应该说 members economic 是这样翻吗？
Well, you can say that, yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
I understand.
其实这件事情是非常重要，就是付费。你看你会付多少费用买 OTT 平台 ？You don't know how much you will pay, because you can have HBO, Netflix. Okay, you can have anything. Just like Netflix, HBO. And then we have Amazon. How much you will pay for 1 year, 1 month? I don't think we will buy every members. So I think we should have this think about this very, very seriously. If we make one drama when we're selling to the world, then let the OTT have their members. So that's the most goal for them. They have to 要绑住会员要怎么讲？
They have to keep members.
Yes, you have to keep their members. So they would. I think in these 2 years, there will more and more OTT want to follow the rule of the Netflix, just like 爱奇艺 how to say 就是爱奇艺 ，OK， 还有 Transcend， 他们其实也就开始走全球路线。爱奇艺跟爱奇艺 and Transcend, they now have their 全球的策略 global policy. 他们现在在泰国，在全球都在做。他们想跟 Netflix, they want just like Netflix, because they think that they have if just like Apple, it's a computer can to the global market. Why not drama cannot? Why not the Chinese drama cannot? So now that they have money, they have a budget, so they want to doing this. So in Thailand, in South Asia, and they find more members. So I think these 4 ways maybe can make you think about that. If we can have our collaborations to doing good contents, then maybe we have chance to global market, because after the Vikings game, maybe we can have more. The Netflix will invite us for them to produce more. So I think we can have collaboration with everyone. If you have any ideas, you can contact with me. Peace and love. Thank you.
Wow. Thanks for the sharing.
Sorry, my English is very poor.
It's all right. A lot of know-how, I believe. So I think we can take a couple of questions if there's any questions.
Yeah, first I will give this book.
I already buy that one.
No.
我已经买了啦。
Oh, okay. Good. Very
right.
good.
The first question we'll get.
Okay.
Norman. Okay.
中文就好了。
可以，太好了。
OK， 因为其实我挺好奇，在台湾的这种剧集的制作市场，那我们都是以我现在的理解，就是大家比较多是走就是那种爱情喜剧，就比较小成本制作。那你觉得说以你在台湾做制片，拿到更多的预算的这个瓶颈是什么？就为什么台湾的预算都那么小？
其实就是一个，如果以台湾戏剧来讲，因为确实在10年前我们享受了一个，你要翻译吗？好，我们享受了一个非常非常好的光阴，就是偶像剧让台湾的剧打到全世界。其实更早，如果你去韩国、你去越南、你去泰国，你说你看过什么台湾剧？他说包青天啊，包青天还有吗？流星花园，对，就这2出，其实很难有更多更有亮点的戏，所以对我们来讲，就是说那个戏，因为爱情剧基本上它的创作技巧跟方法上有它自己的在，可是它毕竟它不需要动用到更多的那种拍摄想象，就是你可以做很大的拍摄想象，你可以在轮船拍，你到飞机拍，像《爱的迫降》一样，就是还做那个还那个做空气球。就是降落到北韩去，你可以去提升技术面。所以过去电视台在拍摄偶像剧或者他们基本上是人际关系、爱情你爱我，所以故事的变化性没那么大。可是你在看同一时期，你看韩国在前几年拍了《太阳的后裔》，他们其实有非常多的片子都在国外拍，他们用拍穿越，他们基本把技术面都提升，所以对他们来讲，他们可以把预算价值拉高。那台湾有一个最重要的原因，在台湾享受这20年 Cable TV 的这个光荣的时候，我们其实已经把广告商惹毛了，就是过去从几家电视台他们要投广告，到现在这么多电视台，他们其实觉得说我投广告的效益已经变少，因为所有人都在看网络，都在看手机。所以你们知道，在前年就做了黄金交叉，你知道台湾大概每年有600亿到700亿的这个广告预算，它是我们这个行业的金主，各位可能也是。这600亿到700亿，在过去的时候，从30年前可能是老3台的时候，他们的薪水是单月领单薪，双月领双薪，到那种状况，你们知道多夸张？老3台的时候，到后来到90年代，其实 TVBS 啊这些电视台加入之后。一开始还挺有竞争，到后来前10年是最好的时候，可是就开始一路下降。所以在去年黄金交叉，就是说网络的 YouTube、Facebook 这些网络的收费已经超过了，它的广告量已经超过了电视台，所以电视台怎么办？它完蛋了，它没有这么多广告量，它变成它成本又会开始紧缩。这10年来一直缩，再加上其实其他地区的国家也更多的东西，所以他们宁愿买韩剧啊，他买陆剧，他干嘛要制作？所以这个是他们必须的生存之道，我们也理解，所以他们就会把整个制作费往下荡。好了，问题来了，就是我今天谈为什么今天 Christopher 找我来讲这个，确实就是这些国际平台他们愿意出更高的价钱，只要你的东西够世界水准，或者是说你的议题、你的类型是全球可以，他对他们讲可以打开啊。所以其实我这件事情是 前几年我们做红衣小女孩也是打开类型的想象，然后我做麻醉风暴2，我还去约旦拍，这2集也都是比较类型的医疗戏这样子，就是有点推理，有点医疗这样子。所以看起来这几年台剧知道也开始找到这个路子，像你们看《想见你》，它是爱情加上悬疑推理，它其实类型是非常明确的。这个在国外已经不是什么特别的事情了，只是台湾长久以来做偶像剧做上瘾，或者成果非常好，卖到全球去。可是全球都在做类型啊，其实我觉得这个是我们必须要注意一件事，而且类型跟各位最有关系。当你们在做数位的，或者是说这个其实会帮忙非常多，这是我们的合作是会看，所以我才会说这件事对我来讲，我从麻醉风暴2大家不知道有没有看，我在里面做了几场爆破戏，我甚至到约旦拍，在约旦做了一场爆破，当然这里非常多的特效东西做，其实我就深深感觉说，我真的可以让视觉感觉不一样。好，你说红衣小女孩所有的那个难度非常高的那个动画，然后特效，那个其实我们也觉得有些人会觉得不够好，当然不够好，那个时候是这个预算拍的。可是我们知道，我们如果一路走下去，各位的功夫越好，我们其实台湾的特效是非常非常好的，帮三生三世代理，帮韩国、日本做非常非常好。可是我们自己就知道，好像比如这2年《天桥上的魔术师》这个戏基本上也需要很多特效，那其实这个故事你们就是去发掘，但它确实会需要。然后其实我接下来刚刚为什么一开始要停2049？其实我超恐慌的，因为我真的没做过这个，把染色师搞死了，我也搞死了这样。那其实就是超难做，而且我们中间有一个单元是一个小朋友，1岁的小朋友，他要拿刀子这样挥来挥去，然后要站起来这样子。抱歉，我们就是搞了，我上次还自己穿衣服试着演看，这样觉得我别笨了这样子。然后接下来靠 Christopher 帮忙，就是我们可能要想办法把这个特效出来。可是这个对我来讲就是把艺术跟技术提升。所以以前我们常常听到说，当你把技术问题解决，艺术就出来了，好像真的是这样子。所以我觉得对我来讲，如果我没有办法去把我想说的故事做出来，那就是 nonsense， 就是我还是就谈情说爱嘛，讲话聊聊天，餐厅、客厅、房间、餐厅聊聊天、吃饭就解决了这样。可是不是这种故事，所以当我想要做一个未来的戏，我就自己面临考验了哈。这是对我来讲是一个打开想象以及制作上。所以如果我们愿意把这个预算其实现在台湾的整体预算也在往上提啦哈。比如说我在做麻醉风暴已经提到500万一集了，现在已经有600万、800万、1000万一集的都有啊。像追梦者好像更高哈。但我们没有那么高，但是我们也做得还不错。就是我觉得现在来讲，就是必须要把整个制作预算往上提，那提供可以跟大家做合作，因为动画确实是特效是很重要的。然后我们其实该做更多的延伸，所以那个整个费用就回答你的问题，我讲这么多就是回答这个问题，就是说只要我们把技术面提升，我们就可以拿到更好的价钱，这样子对，而且国际平台会买单。
好，谢谢 Phil。最后一个问题 ，last question。没有的话，我们今天就谢谢 Phil 咯。All right，
好，谢谢，
谢谢。好，我们今天的活动其实到这边，有问题？没有问题啊，好，那我们今天的活动到这边哦，谢谢大家的参与，谢谢。
传在。好，今天的活动非常精彩哈，然后有非常多的讲者带给我很多新的资讯，然后最后呢，就是也感谢各位来参加这个活动。